Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now today we have here a brand new device from Honor, and it actually belongs to the Honor 200 series. And you might have noticed that I've covered the Honor 200 Pro, I've also covered the Honor 200, and right now we've reached the most affordable budget phone, that's the Honor 200 Lite. Now this phone is actually retailing in Malaysia for RM1299, and as with the Honor 200 Pro as well as the non-Pro, you can expect to have a lot of value for the amount of money that Honor is asking for. Anyways, let's check out today's video to find out what are its key features and whether it's the device for you. Alright, so before we begin, it's worth mentioning that if you are based here in Malaysia, you might have heard of the Rama Package 5G, and previously, we have the Honor 90 Lite in there, but right now the Honor 200 Lite is going to be replacing that, and it's going to offer you again a bit more value for the kind of money that you're paying for the package itself. So let's check out its key features. Now I want to begin first and foremost with the design. So the design on the Honor 200 Lite is actually very different from its bigger brothers because those are sort of a more curvy approach, but the one on the Honor 200 Lite is a more flat approach. So what I mean by that, we do have a flat back panel, we have a flat frame as well as a flat display, which I think a lot of you might actually appreciate. It's also very lightweight, so if you happen to put it in your pocket, you might actually forget that the phone is actually there. Alright, so in terms of the display at the front, now what we have here is actually an AMOLED display, and if you have seen the AMOLED displays on an Honor device, you would know that they are actually a very high quality display. Many phones have AMOLED displays, but they're not that great, so the one on here is actually very clear, very sharp, and it actually gets very bright. Now one thing you need to know here is that it's a 90Hz refresh rate display, and I did wish it came with 120Hz, but 90Hz is still fairly smooth and it's good enough for all your day-to-day tasks. Alright, so as with most Honor devices, you probably know that they have a suite of those eye protection features. You have your PWM dimming, your circadian night display, and a couple more stuff that basically allows you to look at the phone with a more comfortable experience. So that's what you can expect in terms of the display. Now moving on to the cameras, what we have at the back is actually a triple camera setup that's being led by a 108 megapixel main sensor. And just in terms of the photos, so far I've taken it out and taken a couple of shots. You can see them on your screens right now. They actually look quite detailed. The colors look quite natural, they're not too saturated. It's everything that you would expect in a mid-range phone. So it's definitely going to be good enough for you to share on your social media, or if you're just sharing it to your friends or your family, yeah, the camera will work just fine. Now, one cool thing about the phone itself is actually in terms of its selfie camera at the front. So it's not about its 50 megapixel resolution, but it's more on the fact that it comes with an LED flash at the front, so you can take your selfies with the flash itself. The sensor itself is also an ultra-wide unit, so you can actually have a 0.8 times kind of view, or a 1 times depending on the number of people that you have around you. Alright, so that's in terms of the selfies. Now moving on, the performance. What we have here is actually a Dimensity 6080 processor. You have 8GB of RAM, which you can expand by an additional 8GB. And finally, you have 512GB of large storage. So just in terms of day-to-day use, again, this is a sort of like entry-level to mid-range kind of phone. You can't really expect like the super powerful kind of performance. But again, if you're just going to be using it on the daily, if you don't game too much, or if you just do some light gaming, you shouldn't find too many issues with the Honor 200 Lite. Now, since we are talking about performance, let's touch very quickly on the software that is running. And for this, it's running the MagicOS 8.0, which again is actually being run on the more flagship phones. So like I've mentioned before, Honor doesn't keep the AI features only for their flagships, but they also run it on their affordable phones like the Honor 200 Lite. So you can expect to use stuff like that AI Magic Portal, which basically allows you to drag and drop super easily. You also have your AI Blur Private Info, which again is a very useful thing. So say for example, if you're just taking a screenshot, the phone will actually try and detect if there's any sensitive info and blur it off on its own. Very, very handy. Other than that, you also have your parallel space, which you can use to hide all your secretive stuff. I don't know why you want to do that, but you can do that on this phone. So you can put in all your favorite apps that you don't want other people to see in this parallel space. You also have the Magic Capsule, which whenever you're playing a song, you can see info up there, or you can just see more relevant information directly on the top. So those are just a couple of AI features that you can expect to use on the Honor 200 Lite. Now last but not least, keeping the lights on the Honor 200 Lite is a 4500 mAh battery. Now it's by no means the largest one out there, but it's still good enough to last you a full day on a single charge. And with that, the charger itself that comes in the box is a 35-watt unit, so you can expect some pretty quick charging on the Honor 200 Lite. So at the end of the day, for RM1299, again, you're getting quite a fair bit of value for your money. And if you happen to be in Malaysia, do check out the package from all the telcos. I put on a quick table on your screens right now. In fact, the Honor 200 Lite is where you will actually be able to save the most amount of money. But yeah, if you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do have a good one, stay safe and take care. Bye bye.